they can ask. And I was just kind of
That's
hyping you up a little bit.
it's very kind of you, but thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been good. Long day. It's a Monday, so catching up with all the work that I missed out on the weekend.
I know it's like we use the weekend to kind of decompress, but then by the time Sunday midday comes in, you're like, okay, clients. They already
Yes,
take up a lot of
definitely.
space in your head.
Definitely. Yeah. But
Yeah,
how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I mean, I'm at that stage or that point where I'm just floating, where my days are lined up by my team, and I just have to show up. That's about it.
That's wonderful. That's a good team you have then.
Yeah, I'm kind of blessed with that. I'm lucky that my team is freaking fabulous. But yeah, enough of that. We want to like again unable to join. What's up with the network? Yeah. Hey Prachi, what's up? Prachi, you should consider calisthenics with Anupama. It's good coach for that. Anyways, uh, network seems to be a problem.
Okay, we're back.
And third time lucky.
I hope so. Yeah, for sure.
But we are
Yeah.
fitness coaches and we are wellness coaches, so we are persistent and we'll keep doing it and we'll keep trying it till we get it right. Right. So, anyway, so without taking more time, I would like to introduce you. First of all, thank you so much for coming on our platform and having this chat with us. Hey Prachi. Prachi is one of our clients, so I was just telling her also that she can follow you for calisthenic advice and learn to get fit better. So Anupama is India's first female certified calisthenics coach. And for everybody who doesn't know what calisthenics is where you utilize or you use your own body to add resistance and train your muscles for building more strength. I've used every word in this sentence very carefully because people think that strength training is associated with building larger muscles.
That's true.
Uh, and strength training also is associated with getting bulky. It's not easy to get bulky. I've been trying it since years, and I'm lean. It's you need to eat a lot to get bulky, and to train for strength. And you usually train for strength to build stronger muscles so that you can have a sustained life. You can have a better quality of life. You can avoid injuries. You can also avoid a lot of metabolic disorders like diabetes, PCOS, thyroid, and इतने सारी चीजें आ गई हैं अभी. You can actually avoid all of that by just building strong, lean muscle tissue. And obviously, at the same time, having a good diet, controlled, restricted diet, and just be more mindful about what you do. I mean, I'm just trying to cover everything in the short time that we have.
Yes.
But Anupama, apart from being one of the first female fitness calisthenics coaches, you've also represented, or you were the runner-up in the 2019 national championships, right?
That's
How
correct.
was
Yes.
that? How was that experience?
Oh, that was exciting because I didn't think I would. I didn't think I would compete. I didn't think that I would, you know, pick up a life of an athlete because I think it is really intense. We would train in the mornings, and we would train in the evenings, and in between, I had a full-time job with Times of India as a journalist. So it was super hectic to manage all of it. But I was also young and I had that energy. I think this was when I was 25 or 26. So. It was exciting, and I'm glad that I got to live that life because I would growing up I would always think that if I took up sport full time, then probably maybe I would get to Olympics, but I'm glad that I had that chance even as an adult. So that's really good that I got that opportunity. So yeah, definitely learned a lot from that experience.
Yeah, and like after doing that, I mean, since I'm a United fan, and I'm not even going to speak about it much. And you guys won the Community Shield also, and you all took it away from us on penalties and whatnot. But yeah, still, I'm sulking about it a little bit. But you got to be featured on Man City's page, right? How
Manchester
did that
City.
happen?
Um, so basically, I was learning how to play football with this community called Sisters in Sweat. One of
Shweta.
the best things that ever happened. Yes, Shweta Subaya and Tanvi Hans.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're the co-founders. And what also happened is I wrote about them for Times of India back when I was a journalist. So that's how I was exposed to them. And during the pandemic, I did my certification. So, Sisters in Sweat, like they were kind enough to reach out to me and say, hey, why don't you, start coaching with us? Like, coach our, community members. And it was so nice because that community is always, about thriving and like pushing and empowering women. And what happened was for Women's Month in 2022, basically Manchester City came down to India and they wanted to highlight a community of women that's playing football. So naturally, Sisters in Sweat was the go-to, community for them. And they wanted to do two videos. One was for the community itself, like about how the community started, what was the idea, etc. And they wanted to do a video about one individual, about somebody who plays football recreationally. Although it was quite surreal because, like I said, I just started like playing and I was only a recreational player. So when one of the girls from Sisters in Sweat reached out to me, I was like, "Are you sure? Like, I'm not even a professional player. Like, it's not even calisthenics. That they won't talk about me for." So it definitely was my biggest career break so far. So, and my biggest flex is that Manchester City made a video about me, about my life. So I don't know
Why
if
not
many people
connected?
really get to say that, and I think even my wildest dreams, I would have never imagined something like that to happen. So, firstly, thanks to Sisters in Sweat for empowering women, teaching sport, giving us the career breaks, etc. But otherwise, yeah. But they were also nice. Apparently, they had a list of women that they had picked out, and I fit the what do you say, the checklist the best. So
All, everything.
yes, yeah. So it was a great thing, yeah. It was definitely like,
Yeah,
mm,
and
very
that's, I mean,
nice.
somewhere
Pardon?
I think that because your practice, your physical fitness practices in calisthenics, that allows you to get better at everything. I mean, I've been practicing calisthenics, and I've slowly transitioned into more calisthenic or more body weight training with a couple of my friends, Rohan Mazumdar and Zal
Mm.
Vakil. They have their own studio over here, and he's been like helping me out with certain movements, because when you do a lot of unilateral movements with dumbbells and all, you do tend to pick up a lot of injuries and nicks here and there, right? Tendons get injured very easily. I have noticed a fair bit of improvement in my games. Like I play paddle, I play football, and I've noticed a fair bit of improvement, and even I've got lighter. Like, I mean, weight loss has just been a byproduct of it. I've dropped around 6.5, 7 kgs in the last 2 months just by doing a lot of calisthenic movements. But
That's
yes,
wonderful. Yeah.
exactly that, and that's exactly why I wanted to have a chat with you about this, because you're one of the few people in the country who have a holistic approach towards fitness
Yeah.
and have a specific style of training. You know what I mean? It's not
True.
like कुछ भी कर लेंगे, ये भी कर लेंगे, ये भी बता देंगे and all that. So
Yeah.
you have a very clear vision, and I like to communicate and I like to converse with such people, because they have a certain mission and they have a vision to where they want to take their life, and also how they want to help the people that are going to be associated with them.
Yes.
And I thought, what better to, like, I mean, let's speak on this platform about what you're doing, and what's your style of practice.
Well, I think this is also my belief towards life, that I don't believe in extremities, right? I don't believe that, you have to be extremely rigidly like eat only healthy. And I don't believe that you have to go to the other spectrum and, eat unhealthy all the time. There has to be a balance. And the same goes for calisthenics. Like, calisthenics is body weight movements only for those of who you don't know. But while calisthenics is great for upper body, I actually prefer training weights for my lower body. I prefer like barbell squats and deadlifting and all of that,
Okay.
right? So I believe that you should take the best out of each thing and do it. And also at the end of the day, the person's goal comes into picture, right? What do you want to be? Like, I want to be great at hiking and surfing and enjoying my life. So my training is specifically towards that,
Yeah.
that, I'm able to walk pain free. I'm able to hike or pick up a sport or do something that helps me unwind. right? And
Yeah.
as long as I'm fit enough to do that, it's great. Somebody else might, have a very different goal. They might be training for a triathlon, or maybe as a surf athlete. So then their training will be very different. So it depends on the goal, but I think the general way of going about life is not going to the extremities. I think that's how you pick the best from yoga, you pick the best from calisthenics, you pick the best from Pilates. I think that's how you make yourself you bulletproof. So
Yeah, I think the purist is the biggest fool, to be honest. Like, as
that's
soon as you become like,
true.
as soon
Yeah,
as you get into this one bucket that I'm going to religiously follow just one style of practice, you miss out on the good parts of a lot of other things.
exactly.
Uh, Yet, it's always good to have an anchor point. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
this is my anchor point, and then I do other things to maintain longevity in my entire routine.
Yes.
So, what's your take on nutrition? Like, I mean, we'll definitely dive more into training, because that's, at least as coaches, you know that that's the easy part of things.
Mm. And that it
The
is true. I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yes. Training is the easy part. I think nutrition, there's so many things that come into picture when it comes to nutrition, because people are driven by a lot of their childhood trauma when it comes to habits. So not just nutrition, right? Like food habits, their intoxication habits, how they cope with
stresses.
stress. So a lot of the things are driven by how we grew up. All right. So even with nutrition, I believe, of course, it's very easy to come and say, oh, you must eat well, you must eat healthy. But like I had a really long day and I just enjoyed a bowl of tapioca chips, man. Like I was like, I don't care. Like, I had a long day. So live. And I always say, you don't live to be healthy. You live to have fun. Health and nutrition and fitness should aid you in doing these things.
Yeah.
Right? So even when it comes to nutrition, of course, there are pillars. There are your macros. You need to manage your general, what do you say, vitamins and minerals that you need to manage, ensure that you get all of them in. But don't think that, being rigid, extremely rigid, is going to help in any way. It's just going to make you more stressed. So I think it's better to consult a professional always and tell them, be honest about what you want to, how you want to live your life, and tell them, please just help me out with this. I want to be able to enjoy food and I want to be able to be fit. I'm okay not having visible abs. So that's my goal, and that's how you go about it. So that's also my take on nutrition. Because I also am a huge foodie, and my actual um, dream job was to be a food writer, and I was. I was for Times of India specifically wrote the most about food.
Okay.
So I didn't think I would ever change my career to become anything else, but life has other plans.
No,
So
but how is
yeah,
that transition like? Like when you move from like journalism to completely fitness? Like, were you still when you were a journalist and when you were working with Times? Were you still like exploring fitness? Or was fitness like for me? I'm an engineer by academics. I've worked in multiple companies and been a part of different startups, exited startups. And then, like 4 years back, we started Fitcru because fitness was always a passion and it was always something that I was educating myself about,
yeah.
doing different courses here and there. Up until I just decided that nothing else is fulfilling and I want to be able to serve more people and help more people
Mm.
out. And that's when Fitcru just happened overnight. But what was your journey like?
I think, the way we go about fitness is that we should see it as a part of our lifestyle. That's the only way to live. To train is the only way to live. To
Yep.
manage your health is, it should be as simple as brushing your teeth and, waking up and eating your food. So it should be a part of your lifestyle. And even when I was a journalist, I turned to fitness to take care of my personal health, because I went from being mildly athletic to overweight and not able to walk distances, not able to climb a divider. I saw that, not like I was obese, but I was always on the slimmer end. So to suddenly, eat out all the time, have a alcoholic beverage once in a while, as a part of our tastings, it definitely affected my health. So it was a very conscious decision to pick up fitness. The transition only happened because my network is quite large, because I've studied in Bangalore, I've lived in Bangalore. I also love making friends. I love traveling. So um, people in my network started asking me to coach them when they would see me do a headstand or, like, do a pull up or something like that. So I thought it was going to be a side hustle. But then COVID happened. And that was also when I had, picked up my certification. And the only thing we could do was calisthenics. Because we couldn't get weights, right? Decathlon was
True.
not delivering. Amazon was not delivering for, I think, 4, 5 months. So everyone was forced to work out indoors using whatever they have, which is the definition of calisthenics. And I just happened to have been the right time at the right place, doing the right thing for this one. It's just, I think it's divine intervention. So
Yeah.
that's how I changed my career. And also, everything food shut down then because, restaurants weren't functioning. Everything lifestyle shut down. Everything I could write about shut down.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could do was that, which is how, my career transitioned. But I still do write for, Mint Launch. I write about health and wellness. So journalism is on, and I have my friend and I, co-own a food page where we still talk about the best food in the city. So I won't let go of that.
You can't take the foodie out of the person. You can put some fitness into a foodie, but you can't take the foodie out of a fit person.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
very well put. Yeah,
No
for
chance,
sure. Yeah,
no chance. I
yeah.
just had to I'm lactose intolerant, but I'm just crazy about ice creams, and I had like 2 ice creams yesterday. I woke up with like a bad gut, but I just couldn't. Like I had a very long weekend and I was working, but I just had to have my ice cream.
Yeah,
Is how it is.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, see, it's the same experience, right? Like the Tapico chips and the ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's the way to go.
So, tell me, like, how is your work now with your clients? Because I do want to. I know we are very pressed for time, but I also want to cover the 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 initiative you're taking for senior citizens. I definitely want to
Yes,
speak about that. But
yes,
before that, I want to just spread some light on when somebody. So let's say I'm a client and I approach you because I did see a couple of people right over here. Do you teach calisthenics? So if I come to you as a client and I'm like, you know what, I'm kind of struggling with pain. I want to get a little fitter. We have a lot of friends joining. Great. So I want to get fitter, but how can you help me out?
right. Right. So the process we go about is, and I'll keep it brief. The process we go about is first I try to identify what is the goal of the person. What are the things that are non-negotiables for them? For me, it's food. For somebody else, it might be like sleep, or for somebody else, it might be they can work out only 2 days a week.
Yeah.
So they might have some non-negotiables, and then they'll have their goals, and then there is an aspect of pain, right? So usually, with cases of pain and injury and like extreme lifestyle conditions, I have a tie-up with my mentor and physio. His name is Dr. Dhairya of Fitnat Corner. So I have a tie-up with him where anytime the person's problem is beyond my knowledge, I do a consultation where the physio sits in with me and we do a diagnostic around the person's problem,
Wow.
and then we come up with a solution together.
Okay.
Because, like, see, if I educate myself more than to a physio level, then there's no point of being a coach. It's like being the difference between a mechanic and an engineer. Right, I'm a mechanic, and sometimes you need an engineer to sort the problem out. So hire an engineer. So that's what we do in case of extreme problems. That's how we go about it. But otherwise, we set a goal. Usually, people come with their own goals, and if they don't have a goal, we set a small goal, something as simple as, you should be able to do this hike in 1 month. Okay. You've done this hike, previously and you hated it, but this time when you do the hike, you should find it a lot more easier. Or maybe we'll get to your first push up. Right. So we put a goal to it so that when they achieve it, they find that dopamine and happiness from getting to that goal. So that is how the process happens. And I don't charge separately for nutrition either. Like I provide basic nutritional guidance. Again, when it goes beyond my knowledge and there are specific lifestyle conditions that I must take care of, I bring in, professionals to take care of that. And that's how we go about it.
That's great. There's something that you mentioned while we were discussing everything, like do your first push up. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of surprised, not surprised, but I'm kind of surprised that the time and age where we are at and the amount of girls who work out, it's kind of, I don't use the word sad, but kind of disappointing to see that how few girls can actually do a proper push up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or forget girls or guys, like they are all going to the gym and they're working out, but just doing something as a basic push up or chin up to फिर भी थोड़ा एक it takes a lot of upper
It
body
is an
strength.
advanced movement. Yeah, yeah.
But push
Def-
up is more like a skill, and that can be taught by good trainers out there, right? And
Yeah,
there is a certain amount of regression and progression. And once that is done, girls can easily do it, and that the amount of confidence that's going to give a person is going to be phenomenal.
sure. Yeah.
Have
Yeah. Mm.
have you come across such cases where people who once were working out at the gym, a traditional, 3 sets of 12 kind of situation, and
Mm.
they come to you and you assess them and you identify that they don't have as much muscle as amount to the or the equivalent to the time that they've invested in their fitness?
See, I think, like again, right? I always the goal that I set for the people who come to me is entirely dependent on how what their lifestyle is like, right? Say somebody just wants to hike a lot. I just need to make them do incline push-ups. They don't even need to do unlock their
Yeah,
floor push-ups, right? Because it's very specific to the goal. So I think, of course, there are times when some basic levels of fitness are not matched, but I think it's again entirely dependent on a goal. Like somebody who wants general fitness need not do ring dips, right? But as a calisthenics athlete, I will do ring dips every time I go to the gym,
yeah,
right? Because it's a norm for me. So the norm is different for different people, I guess. But as long as they have a basic amount of fitness and they know how to manage their health, I think these parameters only like the push up or pull up, etc., are only like just like milestones, right, to achieve. So that's what I believe. And of course, push up is still, I think one of the easier movements. But traditionally, women don't have as much upper body strength as men do. Right, so it does take them a longer time to achieve it. But I think I do appreciate the fact that a lot more women are picking up health and picking up going to the gym and are thinking about it. Because I just had a 23-year-old reach out to me and say, hey, can I, I want to start taking care of my health. How do I do this? I can't afford it. I'm a student, but how do I do this? So we actually, for now, I'm thinking I'll start a student discount, just to ensure students and also start coming up. But yeah, at least there's awareness. So I think instead of putting a parameter saying, oh shit, this is not happening, I think to see a general shift makes me happy that there is at least they're working out, because the
no.
other option is that they're not working out.
Actually, that's
So
that's very well put, because I mean, considering where we've started, and like when I started working out, there were barely any women who would come to the gym. They were always opting for aerobics or stuff like that,
exactly.
where it wasn't there. It was more cardiovascular based, or not even cardio, but like
Yes.
recreational activities.
Yeah.
And it's great to be active and know, like that's another aspect towards your movement, right? Strength is
Yeah.
another aspect. Can't club the two.
Exactly. No,
Uh,
definitely. Definitely.
yeah, but yeah, actually, you are right. Like the amount of women who have actually taken initiative, and there are so many more women athletes and trainers and coaches like yourself who are opening up and taking those risks. And these are like business risks, right? I mean, there are so many gyms that shut down, studios that shut down, but there are women who are actually taking the leadership and setting up studios and setting up places where people can come and work out. And a big shout out to all of them, because I mean, like how you said, Sisters in Sweat is there, and there are so many other startups that are coming up, or small boutique businesses that are coming up, where women are encouraging other women to take up strength training.
Yes, yes. I think,
Yeah.
yeah. It's because earlier women, like you said, like women would usually, pick up cardio. Even I started with 7 days of cardio. Can you imagine? My God, when I was 24, seven
Yeah,
days of
but we
cardio.
didn't know better that time, right? There was very
Of
little
course,
awareness. Even I
yeah,
started. I love the
yeah.
fact that there are rings hanging at the background.
Yes, of course. This is my, gym setup for the recording. But yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Thank you,
Okay,
thank you.
so I want to get to the senior citizen part. Like,
Yes,
what is
yes.
that exactly?
Yeah. So the reason, and I was speaking to somebody yesterday who asked me why I took up calisthenics, right? Because my dream job was to write about food. The reason I picked up calisthenics was actually a business decision. It was a very conscious business decision, and I researched and I looked as to what is the scalability of calisthenics, how we can bring it, how I can train more people with less amounts of investments. And calisthenics is firstly scalable because there's no equipment involved, and also it's less scary for people in let's say for people above the age of 50, right? So my program now is called 50 and Strong. Specifically, it's a program designed for people above the ages of 50. The advantage is that I'm not telling them that it's calisthenics. They don't know what they're doing. They're just working out, but they're not using weights. So the moment I say, "Oh, you're not going to use weights, don't worry, the risk of injury is less," they don't, it
Stress
doesn't, the
about it.
block doesn't come in their head that, oh shit, like, I'm going to injure myself, picking up weights.
Yeah.
So I think calisthenics is a very beautiful mode. I always say, think of calisthenics as alphabets, A, B, C, D, E, A to Z, right? And what you do with the alphabets, whether you write a novel or whether you write a technical article or a song or a poem, is up to you. So my first venture into, like, basically my first business idea with calisthenics is 50 and Strong, where we are going to use calisthenics to train people above the ages of 50, and it is going to be online and it's targeted to parents specifically, because it started because I wanted my mom to work out. I saw my friends parents like health going down. I saw my grandma's getting lonely, and these are the things that we want to target with calisthenics and build a community there. But that's just the first thing. Of course, it's going to be followed by a lot more targeted programs, and I want to use calisthenics to target those communities that other forms of fitness can't reach, like say CrossFit, for example. But we can build a bar setup. It's a lot more, cost
Yeah.
effective. So that is the reason I picked up calisthenics, and 50 and Strong is one of the first things towards my vision of making calisthenics, big in India. And I'm not talking handstand push-ups and pull-ups and fancy stuff. I'm just talking plank and squats and pain-free stuff, and calisthenics is a beautiful mode to do that.
No,
So,
absolutely, and the amount of confidence that it's going to bring into people, because like just some facts over here, the biggest reasons for early deaths in senior citizens
yes.
is when they have a fall.
Yes.
uh, and that results into they have any fall, they get injured, and that results into multiple issues that keep arising. And unfortunately, sadly, my mom had a fall.
Oh,
She's 67, 68 now,
okay.
and she had a fall around 3, 4 months back. And we are having this discussion on the call also, that as soon as you start the program, I wanted to start, because it's like the same thing, right? I'm into health and fitness. I try to get others to get fit and invest so much time of mine and energy of mine in others, but I'm not able to get my mom motivated or
Yeah,
invested into her own health and fitness, because she feels lonely, and fitness is a lonely journey.
it
And the
is.
fact that you're building a community for
Yes.
people who can connect, can compete in a very healthy way, have that entire sense of, okay, you've achieved something, have that dopamine release, have the serotonin release. It's fabulous. Like I told you that I want to be a part of this cause, however I can, however we can do this together. We
Yeah.
want to get the word out there, because this is definitely the need of the hour. Because ultimately we invest so much time right now so that we have a better old age, we have a better
Yes.
life later on. We want to build
Yeah.
muscle right now. But what about those who have been a little late to the party?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's still doable. Have you been seeing this trend of 60-year-old, 60-year-olds and 65-year-olds? Parents basically they're going to the gym and they're deadlifting how many kgs and
yeah.
doing push-ups. And it's like, yes, it is late in the game, but it's not like all lost, because that mindset change has to come, and it'll only come when they understand that life is not done now, right? And I want them to come be a part of the program, at least to meet people of the same age, so we have that dedicated time for them to, like, talk and, like, connect, and we ensure that everyone gets a little bit of time. And right now it's running, 15 Strong is already running.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We'll be launching phase 3 in next month, but phase 2 is already running. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's
we will
fab. So
definitely.
yeah, we'll definitely try to get you more sign-ups, and I'll spread the word out, because all my friends, all of their parents, like my age group, right? I'm 36, so
Yes.
all my friends, their parents are literally your target customers, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to push them to you. Uh, and yeah, so I think we've covered everything. I didn't want to like take too much of your time also. But what before we conclude, what advice would you want to give all the women out there, like who are contemplating how do we get started?
Which started with fitness.
Yeah,
Okay, so okay, all right. I think this is my standard answer usually. So the first thing is either find yourself a community or find yourself a coach. do not try to do it alone. It's stupid. Why do something alone when you can do it with the help of a community, and you can make friends, and because just this morning I was speaking to a friend who's also trains with me, and he was talking about how him and his runner friends went out for a friend's birthday party yesterday. So communities go beyond just that sport or this one, right? So find a community. Like, that's how I learned calisthenics. We would all train in a park. There were no calisthenics gyms back then. We'd go to Jamal Park in Bangalore, blast hip hop music, and just go on the bars and attempt pull-ups and attempt dips and etc. So one way is to find a community. If you can't afford a coach, find a community, get started with the basics, do a little bit of study. The second way is to find a coach, because that's the fastest and the easiest method. If you can afford it, go for it. Right? There are many coaches who are training for as little as, I think, 500 a month. So, find a coach and get started somehow, and then slowly you can up your game and
Yeah.
see how you can, become better with fitness.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great way to put it. I mean, finding a community or finding a coach, because everybody's in a different stage of life where they can invest more, they can invest less. Uh, the more experienced coaches come at a premium, but then they also get the experience over there, and they also give you that much time.
yes.
Whereas communities will be at a more affordable rate. And if you are motivated and you are able to invest more time of yours, then you'll be able to pick up more and grab more. So it depends on person to person, but yes, there are ample options available out there of trained, educated fitness professionals who want to help out people. I mean, that's why we all get into this. We want to help out people. It kind of feeds our Superman complex in a way where we're able to help out people and feel good about it, right?
Yes,
That's great.
definitely.
What before again, like one more question
Yeah.
that I had for you. What do you think is the growth or the scope of calisthenics in India now?
Oh, it's going to be huge. It's because again, the scalability aspect of it, right? And also, I think it's quite inspiring. It's a new thing, so there is a certain novelty to it, that there's something new and shiny that's happening. The second part is that you need such minimal equipment, right? Like a doorway pull-up bar on Amazon costs 700 rupees, or you can go to a park for 0 rupees and work out there. Pair of gymnastic rings cost anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000, and that's the only equipment you need for the longest time, for about maybe 2 years, until you become an intermediate athlete, right? So the scope is huge, right? And it is picking up. Bombay and Delhi already have a very vibrant calisthenics community full of athletes. It's more focused on building like athletes to compete at national and
The
international level.
games.
Yes, yeah. But Bangalore, not so much yet. I think Tamil Nadu is also getting there. It's doing really well. Smaller cities like, Nagpur and Pune, there have been like people building small little communities of calisthenics. So, like I said, it's scalable even to the smallest parts of India, right? Anyone from an elite, what do you say, athlete to a fisherman's child who's a surfer can pick up calisthenics. So that's the beauty of it, and it's definitely going to be huge. It all depends on how, I think, the people who are the change makers in calisthenics take it forward from here, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I had this really lovely conversation the other day with a guy who had come over for a podcast. His name is Ranjan. He goes by the Instagram handle of Mustang Ranjan, and he had this entire initiative for mental health. He wanted to get mental health included in the syllabus from the ninth standard onward, because he had his
right.
own journey. And what an inspiring story. He actually walked from Kanyakumari to Kashmir to gather attention
Wow.
of politicians.
Oh wow.
He gathered petitions. I'm not asking you to walk that much.
I'll cycle these days.
But the thing is such an inspiring story, yeah, Anupama.
Yeah.
Like he got the attention of the prime minister. He got the petition on the prime minister's table, and it is so inspiring, because when a human being sets out to set a task like that and make a change, now he's actually pushing, and he was included in the G20 summit also.
Wonderful.
Such yeah, and he's getting, most probably he's going to get it included into the syllabus for people. So uh, I can definitely see a positive change in how our government and our system is also trying to include things for wellness and health. And
Yes.
hopefully, I really, really pray that calisthenics, like you said, is a very affordable solution. Anybody can do it. My son, he's 5 years old. Even he loves playing with the rings.
How
I take
sweet.
him. I take him to the gym whenever I can. Uh,
Wonderful.
and uh, and it'll be great to see kids everywhere practice calisthenics so that they can get fitter. Because ultimately, if our nation is fitter, if the youth of our nation is fitter, then they'll be more productive. They'll be more energetic. It's not to have a six pack. It's not for the aesthetics. It's about how they can show up in their day-to-day lives.
It's a way of life. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah. So perfect. Thank you so much, Anupama. This was a lovely chat.
It
I
was
will
my
definitely
pleasure.
hit you up when I come to
Certainly.
Bangalore.
Yeah,
And
yeah, certainly. Please, yeah, please do.
yes, and if in
Look
case you
forward
have
to
any
it.
plans of coming to Bombay, do let me know. And
Certainly.
I hope you also start seeing some Man United matches and start supporting the right club of Manchester.
Mm,
But
my loyalty is never going to change, and my flex is too hard, so
I know,
I
man.
can't.
Like I can't even argue with you on that because
Yeah,
I mean it's such a great honor.
yeah.
But this was fab. This was great. Looking forward in having another conversation with you, and I'll definitely connect with you on the 50th storm.
Done, done. Thank you so much, Pratik.
All right,
Awesome. It
Anupama.
was a pleasure. Yeah. See
Thank
you. Have a
you.
nice evening. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.